Tell me why every time I stop seeing myself. Like we just went live, I stopped seeing myself already. And last week I said I was going to call StreamYard, and I did not call StreamYard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Even People Show. I am your host, Martin Matthews, and I have a fun show for you today, man. I have a show for you today that so the last couple of shows I've said, is gonna be a quick show. Last couple of shows I said was gonna be a quick show, and they weren't particularly quick. Today, however, I do have a quick show for you. So I hope you guys stay tuned. I'm on borrowed time today. I have my ladies with me, so they're buzzing around right now, saying, "Hey, Daddy, let's do this. Daddy, let's do that." So the show I have for you tonight is gonna be fun. Highlight your peoples. Share the link. Tune into YouTube or Facebook, and let's do this thing. I'll be back in 1 second. All right, peoples, welcome back to the Even People Show. I'm your host, Martin Matthews. If this is your first time, Tanasha, bless up yourself, Vimbai, bless up yourselves. If this is your first time joining the Even People Show, on here we just have all kinds of fun, man. We have fun and laughs and such. We read some poetry, we interview people from time to time. But tonight we're going to mix it up a different kind of way. We're going to talk about gray areas. Now, if you missed last week's show, we had a wicked show last week. We had a really, really, really nice show last week. We talked about some forbidden connections and such. So if you missed last week's show, you got to check back in. And I'm going to reach out to StreamYard because I stopped seeing myself again. But I'm going to assume that you guys are seeing and hearing me. So I'm just going to proceed. So tonight we're going to talk about gray areas. If you have my book, um, and whether you're viewing YouTube or Facebook, if you have my physical book, which should be behind me somewhere back there, called Love Life Confrontation Expressions Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man, you'll know about a poem in said book called Gray Areas. Now, what is a gray area? Where did that come from? I wrote this poem back in 2012, where I'd like to say I coined the term gray area. I'm sure we have movies out there called 50 Shades of Grey and all these things. But I coined the term gray area referring to a specific set of situations or situations that meet a certain criteria. Now, for my definition of the term, a gray area is a situation you find or put yourself in that you won't willingly admit in public or to just about anybody. So a gray area, a term coined by me, I define it as a situation you find yourself in or a situation you put yourself in that you won't willingly admit being in or have been in if you were asked in public. Greetings, greetings, Maxi King Butcher from the Ice City, from the Ice City, boy. I don't envy you all at all. Like I see the kind of snow and all that stuff y'all have up north. Y'all can keep that. In fact, some of the cold weather we found down here this week, y'all need to come and get that because we don't need it right now. You see, this is a long sleeve shirt. I have a long sleeve, but I was one step away from wearing my hat today on the show because it's cold, man. It's cold. Which pasa pasa, Mel? Mel, there will be no pasa pasa on the show today. Today is an upstanding show. My kids are home, and there will be no pasa pasa here. Okay, all right. So great areas. So the way I'm gonna do this, like I said, there is a poem in the book called Great Areas. So I'm just gonna take a couple scenarios and we go mix it up with those scenarios. You know, what I mean, just to make you understand what I had in mind when I coined the term great area. All right. So one of the situations we have is when your inhibitions seem to disappear for one night or for a night, any night. When your inhibitions seem to disappear for a night. Now think on that for a second. More specifically, think about the time, the last time, I hope it was just one time, that you were in a situation where your inhibitions disappeared for the night. And what did you do that night? And if your boss, your principal, your certain people were to find out what you did on that night, is that something you would have willingly or something you would willingly accept if asked about it? Tanasha is saying, um, Mr. That, oh, that's why you're early? Because because you like the pasa pasa. You're a male boy, I tell you. So here, there's a couple scenarios that I have for you. One of them is girls' night out or boys' night out. Girls' night out, boys' night out are usually those situations where inhibitions seem to disappear for the night, and certain things that happen on that night, you and your pact of friends vow never to speak of again. Another situation I have here is Vegas. Being in Vegas, they have a saying. They actually have a saying: "Say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," because people have a tendency to go to Vegas and their inhibitions just disappear. Um, Another thing I have beside that is bachelorette parties. When you go out on these bachelor and bachelorette parties, there are things that tend to happen in those instances where inhibitions is out the window. I've attended a few bachelor parties, and literally you go to places where they take your cell phone and any device before you enter, and you check them in and check them out when you leave, and everybody that's in attendance vows to never speak of whatever takes place there that night. So it's one of those things. That's a definite gray area. What's the other thing? What can I say that? You're mad, but in trouble there. There is trouble. If you're out for one of those I left my inhibition at home type of nights, there will be stuff. There will be things that you're gonna have to put in a corner and never speak of again. Let me do this here. Come out of here, something. Okay. Now another thing I have here is blame it on the alcohol. Now, I remember Jamie Foxx, I think it was Jamie Foxx came out with a song that said, blame it on the alcohol, blame it on the. Anyways, but it's when you overindulge in alcoholic beverages and your inhibitions just go. I have a friend, one of my best friends too. Um, he does something when he's drunk, okay? Only does it when he's drunk. So if we're having a good time and we're listening to music, everybody will bust a blank in the ear and bust a scan. But if you hear him go, wee, if you hear him make that sound, he's over the limit. He only makes that sound when he's at that point where his inhibitions are out the window. So at that point, you need to keep an eye on him for the rest of the night, because he will do things in that moment that is gonna get us all in trouble, get us all kicked out of the place we're in, make us have to fight our way out of somewhere or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's situations you find yourself in where you overindulge in alcohol, and because of that, you're in a bad situation. All right. Now, there's another thing I have here. I have a rough time at week, and I have post COVID. Now, Coffee came out with a song that says, "Where will we go when the quarantine thing done and everybody touch road?" It's like we've been bottled up, we've been locked up, and now it's time to just let loose. No inhibitions. Do whatever come to your mind. Do anything you want to do tonight, and worry about it in the morning. Right? So all those situations are gray areas. And if you missed the start of the show where I gave my definition of gray area is a situation you find yourself in, or you put yourself in, that you won't willingly admit to being in certain settings, right? The people that are there, obviously you're cool enough with them to where They're okay knowing, but not anybody can actually know that these things took place. All right. Another scenario I have here for you is where your brain says no, but your body says yes. This is a gray area. The gray area is where your brain says no, but your body says yes. Think about that gray area that you may, but everybody on here is polished, and I mean, I've been in several such situations, but maybe you are not, maybe you haven't been, maybe you've never been in a situation like that. I don't know. I've been in a situation where your brain says no and your body says yes. And if you have not, or if you're not sure, I'm going to give you some situations and you can tell me whether or not you've been in one of those situations. So one of them is Mel says, da 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 da. Nothing to say, no comment. So what one of those situations is being attracted to someone. This when I thought about this, I thought about last week. So last week's show is forbidden connection. And what I have here is being attracted to someone that you shouldn't be attracted to. Being attracted to someone that you're not allowed to be attracted to. So it could be if you saw last week's show, you going to work? What? Where you I get it now. Where your brain says no, but your body says yes. Going to work. I totally, Katie, I totally get that. I totally get that. That going to work is can be like that sometimes, where your brain says no, but your body says yes. You don't want to go, but you get up and go because you know it's something you have to do, or your body seems to be on autopilot. It's almost like driving somewhere or leaving somewhere to go someplace else, but you drive to some place you didn't intend to go, almost off muscle memory. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Your brain says no, your body says yes. Bless up yourself, Julian Lee's in the house. So we're talking about gray areas, Julian Lee. We're saying gray areas are a situation that you find yourself in or put yourself in that you won't willingly admit to have been in if you're asked about it in certain situations, right? We talked about when inhibition seemed to disappear for the night. We talked about girls' night out, boys' night out, bachelor party, when you go to Vegas, when you did things that you later blamed on the alcohol. Now we're on to when your brain says no and the body says yes. And if you remember last week's show, when we were talking about forbidden connections, and G. Cole was just a riot on the show like he usually is. We're talking about being attracted to somebody that you shouldn't be attracted to. You're in a forbidden connection. You're attracted to your best friend's sister. Your best friend know you're a player because you want him out there playing. And you're attracted to his sister, and you see you talking to his sister. That connection is not allowed. You being attracted to the teacher, the pastor, you being attracted to your significant other's spouse. It's a forbidden connection. It's a situation where your brain is saying no, but your body is saying yes. It's a gray area. It's a situation that you really, really shouldn't try and be in. What happened in foreign what happens in foreign stays in foreign. That's a big old foreign is a big old place in the midst. It's all about. But it's one of those type things. Or when you have a secret wild side that you kind of keep on the DL, you know what I mean? When your brain says no, your body says yes. We had someone come on the show before, and we dissected the nun, the poem The Nun. And it talked about the nun just being there in church, trying to be a nun, but her body is doing something else. You know what I mean? I remember a line in there that says she's like a volcano destined to erupt, right? So it's like your brain is saying no, but when you're around the person, when you're in the situation, your body is calling you to do the thing. Christopher says, me driving, and I can attest to that. The boy drives like a maniac. Christopher is saying me driving. So it's like when you're driving and your brain is saying no, but your foot on the gas in that situation is saying yes. The car is going 90 miles per hour, but it feels like it is just sitting on the road, and your brain says no, and your foot says press it. and you press the gas, and next now you're at 110 miles per hour. Your brain is still saying no, and your body is saying yes, because your foot just want to press the gas some more because the car just wants to go. You know what I mean? Those are gray areas. It's a situation where you really are not comfortable in certain settings, admitting to just about anybody that this actually took place. Damn German cars, I tell you. You see, G Cole, bless up yourself, now, my friend, bless up yourself. Yeah, these G Cole, you know what I did earlier? I last night I rewatched our show and I came to a conclusion. I think I was, can I say that? Can I say that? I don't know. I think I was lit as hell on that show. I rewatched that show, and some of the things I said and did, I had to have been lit as hell on that show. It was a really good show, though. Like, I laughed so hard. Like, rewatch that show when you get a chance. I laughed so much on that show. There was water running out of my eyes. Um, Welcome to the madhouse. Oh, Julia style up. Yeah, I think that show, yeah, that show is epic. I rewatched it last night. It was really good. So we're talking about gray areas, as the ad said, and we're at the point where your brain says no and your body says yes. We actually just mentioned some of the forbidden connections we talked about last week. Situations where your brain is telling you no, your body's telling you yes. Maxi K. Bocha in New York, apart from freezing, she says sometimes going to work feels that way. You know what I mean? Your brain saying no, your body saying yes. Christopher just jumped on and he was saying that sometime when he's driving the car, it feels that way. You want to pedal to the metal, and you know what I mean? It's like your brain telling you no, but the foot just want to press the gas. You know what I mean? Yeah, the inmates definitely took over the asylum that day, boy. I tell you. All right, so that's two of them, two down. We still have more to go. Um, well, I'll leave this one for later. Where we're at now, it says where the rules are there, though not quite defined. We're talking about gray areas, and we're at the point where we're saying where the rules are there, but not quite defined. That is a gray area, big gray area. The rules are there, you know what they are, but they're not exactly defined. It's not clear. Now, situations that fall under are unresolved relationship, unresolved relationships. Easy. But a Jad group, bless up yourself. Dark fence, you don't know. Um, Unresolved relationships. Do you know those kind of friends with benefits type situation? It's a gray area. It's where there are rules that should be governing your relationship with this person, or there are rules that should govern your relationship with this person, but the rules are not really straight. They're not really clear. So because of that, the person who's your friend, you kind of have some extra benefits in that relationship that other relationships that you have of that nature does not have those benefits that come with it. 163rd forever. You know what I mean? Vibes masters, same self. Bless up yourself, brother. Bless up yourself. So check this. Unresolved relationships are gray areas outright. All of y'all know. I don't have to spell out that for you. When you have somebody that there's another poem I have called Toxic, and it talks about, you know what I mean, just somebody that you don't trust yourself around. Somebody that if you and them are in the same place at the same time with nobody else around, anything can happen. You know what I mean? You don't go looking for the person, You don't really, you're not really out there seeking them. But if both of you find yourself in the same place at the same time and nobody know they see you, some closet like if get invaded and something like if it go on, because it's just, yeah, you just have an undefined relationship with a person. The lines are there, they're not quite defined, and it's a total gray area. All right. It's like an old fire stick type situation. It's like an old fire stick type situation. Um, I don't gotta explain that to you, G Cole. I do not have to explain that to you. You know, one of those people, that friend from high school, that friend from college, that friend from somewhere, where one don't trust each other, one don't trust oneself around each other, because maybe under different circumstances, coulda, woulda, shoulda, the situations were different. The connection is still there. It's one of those forbidden connections because of where your life is now, but it's just natural. You're around the person, your brain is saying no, your body is saying yes. You know what I mean? The lines are there, they're not quite defined. and next thing you find yourself, you know what I mean? Well, here's the thing, like I saw in our show last night, G Gold, you might find yourself on a bar stool having a drink, or you might find yourself upstairs your friend's New Year's party, and some people are knocking on the door that shouldn't be knocking on the door. All right, that's a whole other thing. Your Jesus is real. He is. All right, and I'm happy. I'm happy. You see, these are the strong among us. These are the people who, when their back is against the wall and Joe is pressed up against them, they do the right thing. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Now, another one I have for you, another great area is where what you did last time was the third last time. Gray area number, what is 1, 2, 3, 4? Gray area number 4, where what you did last time was the third last time. It's that thing that you're never going to do again. That's it. You're done. This is the last time. Only the second last time when you did it, you're like, no, this is the last time. This is not going to happen again. Never. Until the third last time come around and you realize that this thing, yeah, no, mind you, not going to happen no after this third last time, but is it? Is it though? And what I have under this for y'all is rehab. I literally have rehab jotted on my paper. Rehab. It could be an addiction you have to a substance. And this one drink that you're gonna take is the last drink. You're not drink again. Until next week when this more that more to whenever something man, this last drink that you're having now today is gonna be the last drink. Or this last sniff, or this last snort, or this last talk is the last one. Or it could be a toxic relationship. It could be a toxic relationship where this person that you're with, and the fact that you give Joe some, you're not give Joe no. That's it. Or the fact that you succumb to Jill's seductions, you not succumb again. And the last time she ever trick you in kind of way, you now come over when she says she now no butter and rice and you have to carry some rice from here. You're not going over there because the last time you go over there, this time you're not making up again. That was the last time. Only the last two times it happened was the last time. And here you are, third last time later, making the decision again that it's not going to happen. It's a gray area. It's gray, right? Let's see what we got here. Chili dog will keep coming back. Brady, you know you have to go dissect that for me and tell me what that means. They trying to make there's a who sing that song. Rihanna. No, it's not Rihanna sing. Rihanna has a rehab song, but the other lady sing Blue Control. They're trying to make me go to rehab. And I said, no. That's what you say, Mel. Most time the third, fourth, fifth, or 10th last time happens because the person puts themselves in the situation knowing what is going to happen. Or maybe in that moment, Julian, they felt like G. Cole or Maxi K. Bocha that they were strong enough. You know what I mean? G. Cole, same of Jesus on his side and him good. Maxi agreed with it. You know what I mean? Maybe in that moment they felt like, hey, I got this. I can go in this situation. I am not gonna succumb. I can walk in this bar and not have a drink. I can go around this person and not let their charm get me. But next thing you know what I mean, on a knocking boots and all these things, and you say, yes, that's it. That is the absolute last time. I promise I will never again, but some people, some things just have you doing crazy stuff. And that's the truth. Like one of the things I have on here is toxic relationships. Toxic relationships. It's one of those people you shouldn't be with. You shouldn't be with this person. There's nothing that this person does that says, be with me. There's several things about the relationship you have with them that it's not really what you want. But here you are again for the third last time, for the fourth last time, and like Julie and Lee said, for the 10th last time, you're never doing this again. But the fact that you're at last time number 3, 4, or 5 means you're having a problem. You're struggling with this. This is a gray area, and this gray area got you sucked in like quicksand. And every time you try to go past, you're stepping out. So let me just step in out, and next thing you find yourself sinking. Some situations find you. What do you do then? I'm with you, I'm with you with some of these situations be finding you. You have to ask G. Cole and Maxi Bocha what they do. And we probably later on the show going to talk about some of the things you can do to avoid these gray areas. Um, for sure. Let's see what we have here. After the 10th last time, don't go to the damn bar or the side piece house. It's true. It's true. Do not go back. You know what I mean? But she really needs some sugar though, Julian. She don't have no sugar. How she sweeten the pitney them tea? You know what I mean? She don't have no sugar. She needs some sugar. Please carry some sugar. Come here. You know what I mean? And I want to talk sugar cane or the actual brown substance you put in as a sweetener. That's what I'm talking about. You see? Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, G Code. You go, you carry the sugar. Your only intention is to bring the sugar. You open the door, she have on the rider shots. Next thing you know what I mean, una play, find the soap, or however una play. You know what I mean? So it's not a gray area, it's knowingly taking a risk. But doesn't the situation itself constitute the gray area? You just allow yourself to be drawn in by the gray area. So we can't consult you. All right. We're not gonna consult you then, my dear. All right. So obviously y'all are getting what I'm saying. Play hide the zucchini. Yep. Something like that. Drop soap while hiding the zucchini. All of them something they want to play. Because when all your intention really was drop off the sugar. Next thing hide soap and hide zucchini and all these things at play. You also have that person or that place or that thing, you know what I mean, that you shouldn't really mess around and you still be messing around with it. All these things constitute gray areas. All these things constitute or will get you down a path of doing something for the third last time. Dating the wrong person. Dating the wrong person. Now, this is definitely one of those third last time situations. Dating the wrong person. Having the wrong baby daddy. Having trifling baby mother. Having babies with people you shouldn't be having babies with. And after the first time, you say, never again. I now have no baby by nobody who work, who this, who that, who no do this, who no do that. Never again. But somehow, 3 babies later, you're like, no, this is it, this is it, this is it. Or 3 baby mothers later, you're like, no, because the first baby mother have your quota, pay child support, and I try to get a whole check. You now do this again. The second one, now you have split the money you earn in 2. 3 baby mothers later, you wonder, how did I get here? What's happening to me? Right? Third last time. Let's see what D Flow is saying. Maybe that's why you want maybe that's what you wanted anyway. Maybe it is what you wanted. And we're actually going to touch on how people get to this point. Maybe sometimes they're just not being honest with themselves. Or maybe they're using, who they are supposed to be to cloud who they actually are. You know what I mean? Vimbai says, dating the player you should stay away from. Yes, you're going to date the guy your friend date, who knows him is a deadbeat, who knows him just in a hit for what I'm in a hit for. You know that prior to starting the dating. But here you are dating a person you shouldn't date. And on a breakup because of whatever, and you find yourself dating him a second time, even though you know what he does and how he operates, but here you are doing it again. It's putting yourself in situations where you're saying what you're doing for the last time is actually your third last time doing it. Giuliani says, put the sugar at the front door, ring the doorbell, and go back at your yard before she answers the door. Giuliani, you see, here we are going to Giuliani. Me and Gregory are going to do this. When we are carrying the sugar, go over our yard, we'll call you, and you come with me, go drop off the sugar. So that when we ring the doorbell, you just draw away and we jump in that car. In fact, you are drive. We want your carry go over to go drop off sugar. People don't accidentally do these things. In the early 1950s, when I was single, I never accidentally had sex with anybody. Yeah, you I don't know. Damon Marley have an intro to when I'm sung. The song is him and with a girl from Rough Riders name. He and her on the song and he said, yeah, once upon a time you had to meet both a girl's grandmothers before you could go forward. Nowadays it's like you fall and slip and land on it. You know what I mean? Nowadays, literally, it's like you fall and slip on land. And it's a G. Cole saying he never fall and slip on land, partner. There was no accidental inhalation of any substance. Any substance that got inhaled was deliberately done. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, that's a good solution. You know what I mean? Julian leaving by, you know what I mean? One of you can carry G Cole and the other one can carry me if we ever get called upon to bring any sugar to anywhere. You know what I mean? Um, then then your grandma's yes, so the nowadays grandma them too hot. You don't even want she go meet you don't even want your person go meet your grandma next in grandma John way. And decides that she wanna be one of those. What they call them? So cougar business. All right, what else we have? Dating the wrong person. Our baby daddy, baby mama drama. We did actually mention that a little bit. All right, we're moving right along. I promise y'all a quick show. So we have where you stop and say a prayer just before you sin. This, I think, is gray area number 6, is where you stop and say a prayer just before you sin. Think about that one. Where you stop and say a prayer just before you sin. Think about being in a situation like that. Now, the things I have here are basic. You know what I mean? It's like it could be something simple as wearing something. You know what I mean? You're a good, upstanding young lady from the Pentecostal affinity, and you know what I mean, you want to go out, you know, with your friend bachelorette party, but I know your friend will go to church or your friend from work, bachelorette party, and them a go so and so, or them a go Vegas, and the outfit them where you carry, pastor can't see you in them outfit there. You know what I mean? So you stop and say a little prayer, you put on the romper and the body rider, and then you and your friend them gone to Vegas. You stop and say a prayer just before you sin. You're in a gray area, right? Let me see what Julian is saying. Nowadays, you don't even need to drop off the sugar. Public, you see now, that's a legit solution right there, Julian. That's a legit solution. Publix delivered. A lot of these supermarkets, they will deliver the sugar to you. You do not have to go over Jilliard to drop off the sugar. But you want your heel broke when you're trying to run. You understand? Yep, when you run got the car, you can't run. Eh? Take off the shoes. You see, I like this, you know. I like, you see, there are people out here that are obviously struggling, and there are people on here with solutions. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is like online live therapy. If anybody have any issues, put it in. We can call it in like Miss Cleo, and she can tell you what to do. You know what I mean? It's like a confession. Now, when you stop yourself, when you stop and say a prayer just before you sin, you know what I mean? Like we say, you're wearing something as an upstanding, you know, young lady. Eating something, you know what I mean? You might be of a particular faith that say you shouldn't eat this or eat that, but you're out and that's on the menu and it look good and somebody tell you say it tastes nice and you say I like a prayer and eat it because you know so you're not supposed to eat it. You know what I mean? Or going somewhere. You know what I mean? You know, somebody like you really shouldn't go to these places. And like we said, from the definition, this is not something that you will really admit to have done, but you're there. It feels like the right thing to do. Your brain is saying no, your body is saying yes, and you just shut your eye like a bit and squeeze off one like a prayer and shut and get it done. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody struggling. How come the pure hot girl we have act? Well, you know what I mean? How Deco is saying how come a pure hot girl you have accident with? Well, you know, it's one of them brain saying nobody says yes kind of thing. You know what I mean? Your body saying yes to a particular kind of thing. You know what I mean? You know, certain people you can, cause here's the thing, you know, it's like the toxic situations that I mentioned, you know, the toxic relationships, the gray areas like we're talking about now. It's not just anybody. It's not just anybody. Because enough people have enough ex out the road. I know all of your ex them you have that thing with. I know all of your friend them from long time, female or male, depending on your gender, you have an issue with. It's just that one friend. Are them two friends that you have that kind of issue with. You know what I mean? So whether it had or not, or want to share certain experience, whatever it is, it's just that there's something about them. You know what I mean? There's just something about you. Who said that? Pharrell, you know the song with him and Snoop Dogg. There's just something about you. Yeah. Because you only attracted to girls. Hey, you see? Question asked, question answered. Julian Lee says, um, stopping and say a prayer before you do something you know you shouldn't do is not a gray area. You know what you know that you shouldn't do it. You know you shouldn't do. You know that it's something. So, but here's the thing, though, Julian Lee. So you're saying you know that it's black and white, but the fact that you say the prayer and do it anyway is what happens then? You're saying it's not gray. You know it wrong, and you still do it. So, well, here's the thing: you're taking up the gray shield. It's like Captain America. You're taking up the gray shield to shield you from the black, while to shield you from the black as you enter it. You take up your white shield and enter into the darkness, hoping it shields you from the darkness because you know so you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Times 5, times 6, enough X. Toxic women, them hot like Cozumel in the summer. You're nice, decent X them up. You see what I'm saying? The nice, decent X them have unibrow, but the one them, the other Cozumel one them, and them really a problem. And them really are the problem. It's really a gray area, Martin, when you know you shouldn't. Is it really a gray area when you know you shouldn't? Okay, well, the based on the definition we're using, the fact that it's something that you won't willingly admit to have done. It's like I'm saying to Julian Lee, you are trying to create a gray area in that instance where you know it's wrong. You take up your white shield and walk into the darkness, hoping that your white shield will shield you from the blackness. You know what I mean? Because we're saying gray are the mixture of black and white. That's why I'm using this analogy. You know what I mean? And that's how it becomes a gray area. All right, let's see what else we have here. I think this is our last gray area we're going to look at. It is when you hear your mouth speak of things your brain can't decide. Or when you hear your mouth speak of things your brain has not yet decided. Right? When you hear your mouth speak of things your brain hasn't decided. So I'll give you the scenarios that I thought about. It's when you're caught on the spot and you start to lie. So somebody asks you about something that is not quite so or not quite right, but because of who you're around and you don't want to seem a particular way, you tell them what they wanted to hear. You know what I mean? You're misrepresenting something. It's kind of like a lack of authenticity. You don't want to admit that you're this, that, or the third, whatever the situation might be. But you find yourself in there, you're put on the spot, and you told them what they wanted to hear. You're misrepresenting yourself, right? You are not embracing your real self in that situation. So it's like somebody find you at a I'm going to tread lightly with that one here. Somebody find you. Here's what I'm going to say. I know somebody find you at a bar, and everybody in the bar have on certain colors to indicate certain things about them. You are found at that bar. You shouldn't particularly be at that bar because of how you are perceived by everybody else. But you're found at the bar or found walking out the bar, or you call an Uber, and when the Uber come, your friend pick you up. Somebody you know pick you up, and you tell them, say, yeah, I just dropped somebody off. You know what I mean? We had shared an Uber, and they dropped off here, and I was thirsty, so I went inside I needed to use the restroom, so I went inside to use the restroom. You know what I mean? But you're actually at that bar because you are of the nature of the people at the bar, but because you're still keeping it in the closet, like Michael, you in that moment said what you said what you felt you needed to say to not represent your true self in that moment. Let's see what we have going on here. In affairs of the flesh, the brain is the last to be informed. So it's like we started off saying G code. You know, your brain is saying no, your body saying yes. Your body are the last thing where really, you know, your brain are the last thing where really coming. Your body dip on autopilot and it'll do what it'll do. You know what I mean? It's really if it was really a gray area, you wouldn't have a problem saying you did it because there truly was no guidance as to what is right or is wrong. I hear you on that one, my dear. It says, really? So you have no control over your flesh? Well, and that now becomes a question. That now becomes a question. But then, and here's the thing too, Tanasha, and and Julian Lee. The fact that one particular gray area might not be your gray area, it doesn't mean that you don't have gray areas in it. You see what I'm saying? The fact that certain gray areas would never, something where you certain things that you did for the last time was the last time, the first time. But there might be something else. It might not be, there might be something totally different. And that's where your gray area lies. So yeah, not everybody have the same gray area. Not everybody blind spot is the same. You know what I mean? Like G. Cole said, you have only for X out there. I know a whole of them you actually, have some. I know all of them are old fire stick. Some of them are old fire stick, but the fire out. Some of them are old fire stick where you have a little flame. You know what I mean? It's different. So my gray area is not your gray area, is not everybody gray area. You know what I mean? That bar serve pure Smirnoff Ice and Zinfandel, you understand? Is lying by omission just as bad? It is, because guess what? You know you're doing it because you're afraid to show your true self. You're doing it because you're misrepresenting yourself. You know what I mean? So you're driving your friend's car, you're driving your friend's hot BMW, you walk up some girl a road. I really the BMW them like, but they might give you some forward and you not tell them say I know your car. In your mind, it's just not necessary. You have feel them might feel you on a nice. You just hope say if you don't go somewhere, them to buy an old purchase car, you really can afford to carry your friend car. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's the same situation. Look how the flesh big. How they big. How it's just one muscle, man. It's small. How can it pilot the ship when it's a little? All right. All right. So we get in places, and those, ladies and gentlemen, are the gray areas that I have for you. Now, somebody mentioned before, what do you do? You know what I mean? What are the solutions? Gregory's trouble. Gregory's my friend, and don't style him up. Behave yourself. Go boy from around, sir. Um, is that you have to know yourself and what you want. You have to know yourself and you have to know what you want. And you have to be mature enough to stick to whatever you resolve to do. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, when you don't, that is when you open yourself up to these gray areas. Like y'all rightly said, when you know, say the invite for the sugar, or the invite to go to lunch, or the invite for, you know what I mean, do something is really going to lead to something else. But yet still you still go there. You really are opening up yourself to something that could be a particular way, which brings us back to, are you actually being honest with yourself? Are you actually being honest with where you are and what you actually want and how you want to proceed with this thing? The man saying harmless, what do you, Tanasha? And you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be painfully honest with yourself. In some instances, you just have to, because this is what it is going to take. If you keep staying in the gray and deluding yourself, so to speak, you're never going to actually move forward. You know what I mean? And if you find that this thing is just getting away from you, if you find yourself in a situation where really you pass my third last time that I mentioned and reach Julian Lee's 10th last time, then seek help. You know what I mean? Seek some help. Find somebody that probably have more strength than you. Talk to somebody about it. Talk to somebody that can actually help you overcome it. You know what I mean? And like men said, also think about the long-term impact. Think about, if you continue like this, what the end result's gonna be. You understand? You say you don't want another trifling baby mother. You say you don't want another trifling baby father. But there's somebody where you talk to, there's somebody where you date, there's somebody where you whatever with, is just another one. If you just say you don't want another baby by them or with them, guess what? You have to change up. You have to change something. Because if you don't change something, you go end up back in the same place. Only now you're four children in, as opposed to the three you have now that you're having problems with. You have to think about what going to happen if I continue on the path that I'm on now. What do I need to change so I don't end up, in the bar stool, trying to drown away my sorrows and problems. All right. Now, that's all I have for you today, believe it or not, people. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank y'all for checking into some great areas. And like I said to someone just now, my gray area is not your gray area. Your gray area is not my gray area. But I gave you a definition of gray areas when we started, and I gave you a multiplicity of situations that can be that can constitute gray areas. You know what they are. You know what yours is. And even though I don't know, you know. And you get to decide going forward how you treat your gray area. All right. So of course, let me see what Mel is saying. Mel is saying or vice versa, because you may be enjoying entering these gray areas, but they're having different impact on the other person. That is it too. You know what I mean? You have to be honest with yourself too, and you have to be cognizant of how it is impacting the other people. Because sometimes, yeah, it's true, you're putting yourself in a gray area and it's nice for you, but you know it's detrimental to the other person because he or she allows you to do certain things, but you know say if something go wrong, and them really they want to go bear the blunt because you have the walk away situation. Gray areas, you understand? Enough gray area out there, G. Enough gray areas out there. You understand? So, of course, this is the Evening People Show, and before we leave off the Evening People Show, we have to read some poetry, and clearly, the poem we're gonna read is Gray Areas. I couldn't get to address all the gray areas mentioned in the poem. Like I said, I wrote this like I said, the book is Love Life Confrontation Expression. This is from the book of Confrontation. I wrote this in August in 2012 is when I actually wrote this poem, and it's called Gray Areas. All right, gray areas, where what you know meets what could have been, where you know you shouldn't, yet you jump right in, where the black meets the white, but then not quite, where inhibitions seem to disappear, but just for a night, where your brain says no and the body says yes, when you wake up, can't remember, looking around for evidence of sex, when the rules are there though not quite defined, where it's all up in the air, still waiting on time, where you're not sure if you're coming or going and it all stands still, when you say you won't, but then maybe you will, where what you did for the last time was the third last time, when you'll never think of it again, yet it's always on your mind, when the warning lights are flashing, yet you tiptoe in, where you stop and say a prayer just before you sin, when you hear your mouth speak of things your brain can't decide, when you don't stop yourself slipping, though you don't want to slide, when your heart's not hearing what your brain is saying and you're weak in the knees, when he's bad for you and you know it, yet you cherish moments like these. Ay, ay, ay. Gray Areas, Love Life Confrontation Expressions, selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man, available on Amazon and Fontana Pharmacies in Jamaica. And this was the Evening People Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Evening People Show. Next week, I will have another lovely show for you. Like I said, I'm loving these shows, man. I'm loving these shows. Last week, we had a show called Forbidden Connection. And some people will say it was pasa pasa. It was just a nice show in my eyes. You know what I mean? It was just a nice show. That's the way I see it. So check that out. Thank you for joining in with the Gray Areas. And check me out next week. We're doing the shows at 8 o'clock now, it look like. I'm like the 8 o'clock time. It's nice. So next week, love y'all. Like, subscribe, share. Make some people know so we're doing some things here. And hey, like me said, go on, stop going like I don't have no gray area here. Sure.